Hey, wives. Listen, let me put this up here real fast. I had time today, y'all. Hey. Hey. I want to jump on real fast, y'all. Hello. I better not leave my purse here, huh? Hey, girl. Listen, my son is in here doing his follow-up with his facial. And I'm like, well, I got a couple of minutes. Let me, hey, girl. Let me come and talk to the people for a minute and see if y'all had some questions for me. And I was going to talk to y'all for a quick minute. What's going on? What's going on, Miss Lady? It might be too loud out here. I might have to go back inside. I wanted to come on and I wanted y'all to ask me some questions. But then I also wanted to ask you a question, right? I wanted to also ask you a question. And the reason that question came up is because during this week, y'all know, I'm like trying to kind of give like a rundown of my week of the sessions that I had. But during this week, I've had a few, a few things that has come up that has made me, want to address this question. And that question is, so who you really mad at? Like, let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about who you are really mad at while on this marital separation journey, right? I had a young lady that I was speaking with this week, and she's been rocking with me for a minute, and we've been, we have been up and down on this journey with her. And she got better, and then sometimes it's a cycle. So sometimes you get better, it gets good, and then it's like you kind of like go back under. It's good, you go back under. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like a regimen and wives being on some type of regimen where they are consistently checking in on their mental and emotional health during this time and during this season when you're going through a marital separation. A marital separation is not just when you're dealing with a marital separation, it's not just, okay, I'm going to just check in one time and that's it. Or I'm going to just, have one session and then that's it. Wives don't understand that you have to literally process through this, right? You have to literally process through this. And sometimes that takes more than just one session. It takes more than just one time. And so one of the things that, I have been privileged to do with her is like, really, really ride out with her and been rocking with her for maybe almost a year now, right? Her husband is home. But just because your husband is home does not mean that you're not still dealing with things. Just because your husband is home does not mean that you're not dealing with pain. Just because your husband is home doesn't mean that you sometimes don't get, you get triggered, One of the things that she said was, this time of the year is, trigger months for her, right? This time of the year is trigger months for her. And so because it's trigger months for her, she's reminded of, man, I remember this time, like, he had did this, or I remember this time he had did that. And so a lot of different things happen while you're going through this journey, even after that person's husband comes back home. Even after your husband comes back home, wives have to understand it does not just stop once your husband come back in the door. So my question to you is, who you really mad at? Because now it's like, okay, God, we at this place. I'm trying to get in here because I'm probably making too much noise. We at this place, on this journey. The man is here. Yet things still are not like I thought they would be. My husband is back home, but I'm still not where I feel like I need to be. Like, what's up with that? And so I wanted to just kind of give you an opportunity to, ask that. So let me go what you say. I'm mad at me. Him, them, everybody but God. Ooh. But you know what? One of the things that I have learned and noticed is a lot of wives are mad with God, though, right? A lot of wives are mad with God, But it's almost like I can't say that because that won't seem right. Like I can't really say that I'm mad with God because then that won't feel right. And the truth of the matter is, God like, but I already know you mad with me. Like, I already know you mad with me, so stop acting like this. I already know that you having a hard time with this. I'm just waiting for you to just be honest about, what you really got going on so we can move on to the next part of this. I already know you're mad. Just admit that you're mad. Let's work through this. Let's process through this. Let's get through this so we can get to the next place and the next stage of this journey for you. And so I just want to come on real fast and just kind of like throw that out there and then, of course, see if White had any questions. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me before I shut this down? Just want to encourage White to, sit down and process through that question and begin asking yourself, like, who you really mad at? Who you really mad with on this journey? Like what the problem, what the real problem is, okay? Because sometimes God can give us everything that we want. Sometimes the man comes home. Sometimes, the marriage is restored for a minute. Sometimes, things get better. Things get well. And then it seems like, but something is still missing. And this is why it's so important for wives to make sure that they're walking through their healing journey in the most effective way, in the most healthiest way. Because, like I always share with the wives that I work with, there's layers to this process. There's layers to this process. There are different layers that you go through. You're going to deal with the highs, with the lows, with the around the curves, with the the things that's going to throw you off, with the backwardness. You're going to deal with different things. And if that husband does come home, and he has not fully submitted himself to the Lord, and he has not fully surrendered to to God's will for his life, you have to understand, wife, that marriage is not restored. Y'all was just reconciled. Y'all was just reconciled, but it does not necessarily mean that marriage is restored. And so wives, don't get off of your journey and don't get off of what you're supposed to be doing in this season and during this time. Make sure that you are going through the whole process. Don't just do a session. Don't just say, okay, I want to just check in. This is not when you're in a season like this. This is not just I'm going to just check in and then I see you again in maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months up to a year. No, you need to actually, just like if you was going to a practitioner, just like as if you was going to, like I said, I'm here with my son. He gets his, he has regimens where he get his face did, and we have to come here on a routine to keep his face, because of the acne of his acne skin. He has to be on a regimen. He has to be on a regimen in order for that to be under control. And so I just encourage you to make sure that you get the necessary healing that you need, and don't just do a one check-in. This is the season. This is the time of the year where this is trigger season for many wives. This is trigger season. I've shared with you all the time that holiday season is hard for a lot of wives, especially for the wives who have been with their husbands, especially for the wives who have is used to doing family time. Hello, especially for the wives who are like really having like we got young kids here. We're used to doing family life together. We're not doing family life together. And so I'm trying to really process through this. Wives, this is not the time or the season for you to just say, okay, well, I'm going to just do a check-in and that's it. And then that coach don't see you for another whole year. This is not the time to do that. You need to walk through this process in the most healthiest way. Hey, girl. Hey, what's going on? I want to see y'all had any questions. I was sharing a little bit about, who you really mad at. And I was just wanting to share, a lot of times that wives are, they point the finger at, at the man. They point the finger at, the situation. If he would only do this, or if he would only do that, if this was happening, if that was happening. And a lot of times, these wives are really mad with God. And God is like, I'm waiting for you to tell me that you're mad with me so we can get busy and get moving doing the next things that we need to be doing. I'm waiting for you to be honest about what you're dealing with and be honest with your situation so that we can go forward and move on to the next steps. And so sometimes wives are doing that one-time check-in. And like I was just explaining, I'm here with my son. We are getting his face, he's on a regimen for his face because of his acne, that we have to keep that under control in order for his acne to stay under control. And just like, you have your type of regimens, whether it's a workout regimen, whether it's a food regimen, whether you go to the doctor certain times of the year, whatever that regimen may be, when you're dealing with a marital separation or you're going through hardship in your marriage, Wives need to prioritize their mental and emotional health. Too many wives are putting their mental and emotional health on, like, on the side, as if like this is an option. This is not an option. This is a necessity, especially when you're still dealing with stuff. And even when the man comes home, or even if you have access to the man, and even if the man and you are still, being involved sexually, even if you and the man are still, doing things together, or he come and see the kids, or he's stopping by, or we having dinner, or we've been talking, or it seems like he want to come home. You have to understand, if that man has not fully surrendered to the Lord, and he has not given his life over to Christ, even if he comes home, that marriage is not necessarily restored. You guys have just only been reconciled. And there's a difference. And so I just want to just come on and just encourage wives. Like, this is the time for you to make sure that you are being honest with God. This is the season. Because it is such a triggering time of the year, you want to make sure that you are underneath some type of accountability, and you want to make sure that you are getting the necessary help while you are processing through this. Like I say, I speak to many wives on a regular, and one of the things I hear a lot, especially when the husband is back home, one of the questions I get is like, he's back home, but I'm still not happy. He's back home, but there's still a void. He's back home, but something is missing. He's back home, but something is still off here. Something ain't right. He's back home, but things still feel a little awkward. Some things just feel a little weird. This is weird. Like, this feel real weird. He's back home, but things are still not back in a healthy place. What is up with that? And like I shared, healing is a journey. Healing is a process. This journey that you're on, there's layers to this. Just when he's on the outside, that's one thing. But when he comes back home, that's another whole ball game. And wives got to be mindful of that. They got to be mindful of that. And so I just always encourage wives, don't try to do this alone. Don't try to do this alone. You wouldn't do your pap smear alone, would you? I mean, you shouldn't, right? You wouldn't pull out, go to the dentist to try to pull out one of your teeth alone, would you? Like, would you do that? Don't try to do this type of journey alone. You need to get the necessary help and utilize the necessary tools that's available for somebody to help you walk through this. And it's not just, I go to church, or it's not just, I read my Bible, I fast. Good. Keep doing those things. Who are you talking to process this through? Who are you talking to as you are processing through this? Listen, my husband and I have my husband been home almost 7 years. And let me tell you, I'm the coach. And Coach T still have those moments of, baby, okay? I still have those moments. So none of us are exempt from hardship. None of us are exempt from, the hard stuff. We still have those moments. And it's been plenty of times where, one thing about me, I am honest. I'm very honest and transparent. So when I go to God in prayer, and when I go to God about something, I am real honest, and I'm real passionate, and I really, really speak other words and stuff. Because if I don't like something, if I'm not in agreement with something, if I'm not sure about something, it's like, I'm going to express that. Like, I don't like this. Like, what's this about? Like, especially when you done told me one thing and I'm seeing something totally different. Like, what's this about? And so wives got to understand that, yes, you need church, and yes, you need the Bible, and yes, you need to fast, and yes, you need to go and be a part of the small group, and yes, you need, community. You do. But you also need a reliable, trusted source that you can also, somebody who can relate and understand your story. All right, let me read this. I'm getting my workout walk on now. I neglected myself all week, which is not like me. Self-care. Absolutely. You got to make sure that you are keeping up your regimens during this time. Like, it's so easy to get caught, kind of like pulled off and knocked off track. I ain't going to even tell you what I'm got going on, but okay. But Coach T, how on earth do you stay consistent with this stand when it doesn't even feel like you're married? I only know I am when I have to sign my name on something, because this stand is not about your marriage. That's what so many wives are missing out on. God, a lot of times God may have wives in this place where he has told that wife not to divorce her husband, or not to leave her husband, or to stand for that marriage. But sometimes, even, as time go on, as that wife is healing and going through her journey, that marriage still may not necessarily be, reconciled or restored. God is trying to do a work in you. It's not about your marriage. And so when wives are paying and focusing attention only on, I'm standing, and I'm married, but I don't feel like I'm married, your focus is off, because it's not about your marriage. That's why. It's not about your marriage. First time catching a live. Yes, hunty. Okay. Listen, and I normally don't pop in on weekdays. I normally do my lives on Friday, but like I said, I had time today. This young man here, you know, he getting his facials, and I ain't even had no facial. Hello. Yes, he up here getting his facial, and I ain't even had no facial. I do my own facials at home though, because I have a my esthetician is my sister, and so she give me, you know, all the good products and walk me through the steps. And y'all need to go see about her. What's her name on there? Lord Replenish Spa. She's a esthetician, but she does consulting, and she also, you know, have her, what you call it, some kind of credentials, child, where, you know, everybody can't go to this place and order this, you know, the product. And so her nephew, it was certain things that she had, you know, recommended for him. And so when we came to this esthetician, who is actually in our, you know, in our neighborhood, because my sister's in Florida, she was like, the product that you got is good. So I'm like, okay, kudos to my sister. So y'all go visit Replenish. I might put it in a little comment section down there so y'all can go visit her page. But she's a consultant, and she's really well. She knows her stuff when it comes to facial. That ain't what I'm on here for. I'm just saying, I just want to give her a shout out, because that's why I'm up here, and that's why I'm doing a live today. But listen, wife, it's time to get honest about what's going on with you on your journey. It's time to get honest about your stand. It's time to get honest about what are your next steps. It's time to get honest about what it is that you want to do next. Healing is not a one-day thing. Healing is not 4 weeks. Healing is not 6 weeks. Healing is not 9 weeks. I walk with my wife specifically up to a year, maybe sometimes even 2 years, or on an as-needed basis. Even after you done walked with me for those 2 years, I still have my wife check in with me. Listen, you're going to always be going through some type of healing. You're going to always be healing on this journey. You're going to walk through that season. But when you're dealing with something as hard as a marital separation, and you have went from your husband being outside of the home, and now your husband is back inside of the home, and you and your expectations was one thing, and now you're saying something totally different, baby, let me tell you, I'm the one. I'm the one, because you could not have told me that stuff was going to go backwards for me once my husband came back home. You could not told me that things were going to flip upside down, and it was going to look like, you know, we ain't even, you know, have no good moment. You could not have told me that. But this is one of the reasons why I always tell wives, continue to pray. I'm just an advocate for wives praying for their husbands, and not praying where you like warfare, knowing your season on how to pray for him and keep him covered, and knowing what God is asking of you. But as far as this journey, your only position is God, from this place, from where I'm at, for where I'm at now. What is it that you're expecting from me? What is it that you want from me? What is my position here? What am I supposed to be doing next here? Okay, I don't have no control over him. Okay, he's still acting like a butthole. Okay, he not talking to me today. Okay, we not having sex again. Okay, now it look like he's starting to do the same things over and over again. Okay, now he's sleeping in another room. Okay, now he's not coming home again, but he just came back from the outside. Okay, now he has went back on the outside. What do I do from here? What do I do from here? Because don't think when your husband come home you have arrived. That's not your arrival season. Okay, you have not arrived when your husband come home. You just showed up. you just showed up. Your husband coming home is not the award in this. The award in this is finally getting a clear understanding of what God has been after in me this whole time. What God wants from me this whole time. What God is trying to show me this whole time. That's the reward in this. It's not necessarily about, oh, well, let me walk up, because I got the people. They probably, I'm talking loud and stuff. Okay, let me walk over here. The reward is not about your husband coming home, wife. That's not the reward. The reward is about finally getting an understanding of what it is that God is calling you to, what it is that he has, the whole purpose of him allowing you going through this process. That's the reward. Finding out why you in this position in the first place. Why did God choose you for this position in the first place? Why did God call you to this place in the first place? That's the reward. Your husband, God will have to still do his own perfect work in your husband and his timing, right? But because he called you the representative of Christ, Now he's going to see how you're going to treat my son. Are you going to treat him differently now because he's not doing what you want, or he's not doing what you expected? Are you going to treat my son some different kind of way now? Are you going to mistreat him? Are you going to take advantage of his fragile heart? Or are you, no, what about this one? Are you going to speak to him? Are you going to speak to him the truth in love? Are you going to be honest with him about his sin? Are you going to be honest with him about what he got going on? Because there will come a time when you will have to call your husband out on some of the stuff that he's doing, especially if he have not released that. But you got to be spirit led. And you're not going to get to that place and be to that place if you are not working on yourself first. If you don't have your own stuff together. You can't be pointing at his sin and pointing at him and what you're doing, and you're not allowing God to break you. You're not allowing God to work in you. You're not allowing God to refine you. It all start with you, wife. It all start with you. So listen, I tell y'all all the time, this is, trigger season. All right, we're going into the holiday season. November is right around the corner. All right, the holidays is coming near. For the wives who are struggling with their husbands not being in the home, you still have young children, I want to encourage you to get on a regiment. Get on a regiment. If you have family that you are, able to connect and be around during this time, great, good. I always tell my wives that if you are not in a position or you're not in a healthy place where you can share with your family, because, family nosy, they're going to want to know what's going on. Have you heard from him? Have he talked to you? Did he send the kids money? I always tell my wives, prepare your speech. All right, prepare your holiday speech for when you're around your family, because people nosy, and you got to know how to be able to be grounded in what God is calling you to. You don't want to be there talking negative and saying all kind of things about the man and coming in agreement with the enemy with your family because y'all having family time. And while you go back home, they're gonna be sitting there talking about you and your stuff. Come on, Jesus, don't do that. So get your speech together, get your words right. And then get connected with a coach who can help you process through this time. All right. Get connected with a coach who can help you process through this time. And so, yeah, that's all I have for y'all. Just wanted to check in with y'all real fast. I'm going to still probably come on tomorrow and do a teaching or whatever, do a live. But I just want y'all to just sit with that. Who are you really mad at? Who are you really mad with? I want you to sit with that, process through that, really sit and be honest with yourself. Is there any offense in your heart towards God? Do you have any offense in your heart? I know it's not right. I know we shouldn't say stuff like that. I know it seemed like, you really shouldn't say that you mad with God, because at the end of the day, he's God. But are you? Are you? God, I thought it was going to be like this. Or I thought we was going to be like, I thought we'd been further along by now. I thought this would have been happen by now. God, I thought you said you was going to do this. What's going on? Sit down with that question and see, is there any offense in your heart towards God? And if it is, tell him so he can help you get to the next place. There's layers on this journey. And in order for you to get to the place that God is trying to take you, you got to be able to face some of those hard things. You got to have some of those hard conversations. And that's one of the things I know I give my wives 1,000% in my sessions, because I'm going to ask you the hard question. I'm going to ask the question that you thinking about, but you don't want to say it out loud. Like, I'm going to ask you those kind of questions. I'm going to look in your face and see what you really want to say, but you're not saying it because you don't know if you should say that because it probably don't seem right. I'm going to be that coach, okay? I'm going to be that coach. So get your coins together, all right?